Imagine this. There's a substance that kills more people each year than terrorism, wars, car crashes, and murders combined. Sounds terrifying, right? Now imagine it sitting on the table at a wedding, clinking in glasses at a fancy party, or bubbling away at your weekend barbecue. That substance is alcohol. Hard to believe? Well, more than 2 billion people on this planet drink it regularly. A wedding feels incomplete without wine, a weekend without beer feels unfinished, and for many people, the easiest way to unwind after work is with a glass of something strong. We drink when we're happy, when we're sad, when we're stressed, and when we're relaxed. Alcohol is a paradox. It's one of the deadliest poisons in human history, and at the same time, one of the most celebrated. So here's the big question. Why are we so attached to something that hurts us so much? Alcohol didn't start out as a human invention. It's actually a biological weapon. Tiny yeast cells, during fermentation, produce alcohol to wipe out competing microbes. For us, though, it shows up as beer, wine, whiskey, champagne flavored with fruits, grains, herbs, or even caramel. Sounds nice, right? But the moment you swallow even a sip, sextillions of alcohol molecules flood into your stomach, slip into your intestines, and rush straight to your liver and brain. Here's the catch. Your liver can only process about 1 sip of beer every 5 minutes. Drink faster than that, and your liver is overwhelmed while alcohol keeps rushing into your brain. And that's when the real chaos begins. Inside your head, alcohol hijacks the delicate wiring of your neuron. Signals between brain cells slow down, connections get fuzzy, and the control center of your brain, the prefrontal cortex, gets stunned. That's the part of your brain that says, hey, maybe don't text your ex, or jumping off that balcony isn't a good idea. Alcohol basically turns down the volume on self-control. At the same time, it floods your system with endorphins, the same feel-good chemicals we release when laughing, singing, or dancing. That's why, after a drink or two, people feel lighter, conversations flow more easily, smiles last longer, and strangers suddenly feel like old friends. Alcohol lowers the invisible walls of insecurity, letting us feel more open, more connected, and maybe even more like our true selves. No wonder it's the world's favorite social lubricant. But here's the slippery slope. One drink at a party might feel harmless. Then it becomes a weekly ritual. Then every other day. Then maybe every day. Why? Because alcohol can dissolve in both water and fat, meaning it sneaks into nearly every cell of your body. When broken down, it turns into acetaldehyde, a chemical even more toxic than alcohol itself. Acetaldehyde wreaks havoc on your DNA, cells, and tissues. In the brain, it shrinks neurons and cuts their connections. The results? Fading memories, slower thinking, and a rising risk of dementia. And the younger you start drinking, the worse it gets. The human brain isn't fully developed until your mid-20s. Drinking before then is like smashing wet cement before it has hardened. Long-term, alcohol is a slow-motion wrecking ball. It raises your risk of at least 8 cancers, from mouth, throat, and liver to bowel and breast cancer in women. Every year, alcohol is responsible for around 740,000 new cancer cases, leading to 400,000 deaths. Your liver? It gets hit the hardest. First, it fills with fat, then inflammation sets in, and eventually cirrhosis scars it beyond repair. 600,000 people die each year because their liver gave up. And it doesn't stop there. Alcohol weakens your heart, raises blood pressure, increases your risk of strokes and blood clots, and contributes to 500,000 cardiovascular deaths each year. It also damages your skin, speeds up aging, and adds calories that make weight gain almost inevitable. 1 beer a day might sound harmless, but scientists see the risks rise from that point on. By 3 beers a day for men, or less than 2 for women, the odds of dying young shoot up dramatically. What makes alcohol especially brutal is that it doesn't just hurt you, it hurts everyone around you. Each year, alcohol contributes to about 500,000 accidental deaths. 300,000 of those come from road crashes. And here's the cruel twist. More than half of the people who die in drunk driving accidents never touched a drop. They were just in the wrong place at the wrong time. Alcohol is also one of the biggest drivers of violence. Bar fights, domestic abuse, assaults, even murder. Roughly half of all violent crimes and sexual assaults worldwide involve alcohol. In England alone, around 800,000 people are injured each year by drunk offenders. And then there are the most innocent victims. 600,000 babies born annually with fetal alcohol spectrum disorders, a lifelong disability passed down before they even take their first breath. Cross a certain invisible line, and drinking stops being fun and starts being an illness. Right now, an estimated 400 million people worldwide live with alcoholism, about 1 in 14 adults. And for more than half of them, it isn't just drinking, it's dependence. Alcohol becomes something their body and mind need. The stereotype of alcoholism, homeless people clutching bottles, or angry fathers yelling at their kids only tells part of the story. Many alcoholics are hidden. They're professionals, parents, people with steady jobs and respectable lives. They don't cause trouble, they don't look sick, but they quietly down 4 beers a day and get drunk every weekend. Their addiction hides in plain sight. And that's exactly what makes alcohol so dangerous. It's the most socially acceptable drug on Earth. So why did humans ever accept this poisonous companion? Because it solved one of our oldest problems, human connection. Let's be honest, interacting with people can be messy. We worry, am I talking too much? Do they actually like me? What if I embarrass myself? Alcohol takes the edge off. It silences the inner critic. It loosens the knots of anxiety. It makes us braver, friendlier, more willing to open up. For thousands of years, alcohol has been the shortcut to bonding. It gave us confidence, trust, and celebration in exchange for health and years of life. You could call it a deal with the devil, and we signed it gladly. But here's some good news. The deal may be breaking. Gen Z, the youngest generation of adults, drinks far less than their parents. In the United States, the percentage of 18-year-olds who've ever tried alcohol has dropped by 25% in recent decades. Binge drinking among teens has fallen by half. Even in countries like Germany and France, where beer and wine are cultural staples, consumption is dropping fast. The results are obvious. Fewer accidents, fewer hospital beds filled, fewer lives derailed. But there's a twist. At the same time, young people are partying less, dating less, and hanging out with friends less. Loneliness and mental health struggles are skyrocketing. So here's the uncomfortable question. Is less drinking making society healthier, but also lonelier? If the West truly is drinking less, we might be standing at the start of something new, a future where people connect without chemical crutches. Instead of leaning on beer or wine, we can build closeness through shared passions, sports, art, volunteering, or even technology like virtual reality. Science shows that doing meaningful activities together also floods our brains with bonding chemicals, endorphins, and oxytocin without the health costs. The challenge? Alcohol is quick and easy. Alternatives take time and effort. The question is, are we ready to trade the shortcut for something healthier and longer lasting? So here we are. Alcohol is both a friend and an enemy. It has brought people together for millennia, but it has also destroyed millions of lives. Now, younger generations are pulling away from it, opening the door to new ways of connecting. The final question is, if alcohol disappeared tomorrow, would you find another way to break down the walls between you and others? If you enjoyed this journey into one of humanity's greatest paradoxes, hit that subscribe button for Why Is That Lab? Because sometimes the things we take most for granted hide the biggest truths.